Hello and welcome to another haul by Transferware China Pottery. So today I am going to show you a bunch of things I've been gathering this week, and some of them are just absolutely amazing. Um, we did grab quite a bit of Transferware, but we also grabbed a few other items that also spark my interest. Although I don't collect these particular items, I do resell them on our eBay store, which is Transferware China Pottery. So if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you are already one of our subscribers, welcome back. So let's start with a so before I start, let me just let you know, I apologize, I'm going to be bending down quite a bit because I'm going to start from the back to the front, so every time I reach forward, I'm not touching any of these items so nothing gets broken. Okay, so let's start by this amazing, beautiful lamp that I picked up at a local antique mall. And it's a solid brass 1900s student lamp with the imperial glass, carnival glass shades in very, very good condition. I believe at some point this lamp was rewired back in the 60s or 70s. That's definitely not the original plug. Now, when it comes to selling lamps, I 100% recommend every time you purchase a lamp that has been, that's this old and it's used, to get rewired. You really have to be careful because humidity, corrosion, age does get infiltrated in the wires, and it can cause a lot of problems and fire hazards. So every time that I've purchased used lamps, whether they're vintage, antique, I always have them rewired so that way there's no issues. So like I said before, I'm going to be placing some of these items down on the floor. Then in terms of lamps, that was it. So now let's go into the porcelain. So I ended up getting, in terms of porcelain, this beautiful, which I believe is Limoges. I have to do some research on this piece. This beautiful urn, covered urn, hand painted. It's either Serves or Limoges. I have to do some research. And it's absolutely stunning. Couldn't let that pass. Quite a bit of enamel painting on it. It's hand painted, it's not transferred, so it's not a recent item. It's definitely 19th century. Beautiful item. Really, really nice. Now, in terms of that same type of porcelain, but much later on, I have this beautiful Limoges clock. Now, this is about from the 1980s. Gold gilded. It is Limoges, and it's a battery operated clock in the front. It does have the cover in the back, and the marking is right there. It's absolutely stunning. What a beautiful piece. And it's quite interesting because I ended up picking up these two pieces, and I'm able to show you the difference between the new and the old. So obviously this is a reproduction, still valuable. It's valued about $300. And this one, because usually these used to come in pairs, so single like this about $150. So I only have one of those, unfortunately. Now, in terms of porcelain, we're going to move on to the Nippon. Ended up picking up some Nippon. I do sell quite a bit of it on my eBay store, Transferware China Pottery on eBay. And let's start with this beautiful Morimura hand painted cabbage rose vase. The roses are absolutely beautiful. I'm a huge fan of roses, so if you watched my videos, you know that I am a huge fan of the hand-painted Limoges Nippon porcelains. I do not collect these. I collect Flow Blue and Transferware. Then from that same booth, I ended up picking up this antique Nippon bud vase with the large cabbage roses. It's absolutely stunning. It's a very old piece, probably late 1800s, since this one is not marked. Also, picked up this other piece at a different antique mall, also unmarked, with the owl. It's raised. No chips, cracks, or repairs. Hand painted, and it does have that tapestry porcelain here. So here is glossy and here is matte. Very nice piece. Another beautiful piece of Nippon that I ended up picking up. It's this stunning Nippon, hand-painted Nippon Morimura piece. Look at the beautiful handles. Has 3 handles on there, which is very, very rare. It's a very large piece, and it's all hand-painted. Isn't that stunning? I absolutely love Nippon. And I'm going to put this one down so that way we don't run into any issues here. In terms of porcelain, I do have other porcelain here. Hold on a second. So I have this beautiful Limoges bowl with its underplate. Usually these pieces, this is a serving bowl, open serving bowl. These would not have covers. And usually these pieces would be most likely either displaced or they would be separated. And this one is in very good condition. There's a little bit of wear on the gold, but there's like a beautiful gold gilded pattern there. And this is a JP Limoges. Look at the bowl on that with that cobalt blue. It's not black, it's blue. Very, very nice large piece. Put this down as well. Sorry about me leaving the camera like that, but I just don't want to break anything. And for porcelain, that was pretty much it. Then we're going to go on to the Transferware, which is most likely either ironstone, which is also a certain type of porcelain, or soft paste. But before I go there, I also ended up picking up this Art Nouveau cast clock. Now this clock is definitely not working, so it's sold as is, but it's a definitely beautiful piece. And if you are a clock master, I mean, this is the perfect project for you. It can definitely be repaired. It seems like all the original parts are on there. It's very, 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 very heavy. Very heavy piece. And this plays absolutely beautifully. It's interesting. I have so many beautiful clocks and I have them just for the decor. I don't usually have my clocks working because this day and age, I just have my cell phone and I'm always here at the office working. And and cheers to a nice cup of coffee. It's early in the morning and we all need a little stimulation. So moving forward from that, I want to show you this beautiful ironstone piece, soup tureen. All white ironstone with the old marking there. There's no ladle and no underplate, but I see here a repair on the handle, but you can barely see it. This is just a sticker. Let me talk a little bit about stickers. Okay, so anything you put on these items, you have to really think it over. I understand why sometimes the dealers put stickers that are very difficult to remove, because there's always something that gets misplaced or exchanged by mistake or something like that. But just take in consideration the tapes, the glues, especially at the thrift shops. The tapes around the items are a huge no-no. So if there's any gilding on it, it's going to come right off. Okay, I usually, if I find a piece and I risk it, I usually soak it in hot water so I'm able to dissolve that glue. That way I can salvage the piece. If not, the piece gets completely destroyed. And on these items, these antique pieces as well, those glues create erosion on the glaze, creating all kinds of issues. Please try not to stick anything to porcelain or glass, especially porcelain. So yeah, so on the lid, there's some marks, some aging spots there, but that's very, very common. Just a little repair on here you can barely see. It's a beautiful piece, not large. It's nice and large. So it is a soup tureen. Had an issue the other day. I purchased this beautiful soup tureen from eBay. A beautiful flow blue, and I paid quite a bit for it. When it arrived, all the dimensions, 18 inches for the underplate, 14 inches for the tureen, description, etc., etc., etc. It arrived as a sauce tureen, which is very deceitful and very unfortunate. I was able to return the item back and move on from that terrible situation. So if you are reselling on eBay, just be aware that it's very important to describe these things to the, how do you go from an 8-inch tureen to a 18-inch plate and 14-inch tureen? And I understand what happened with this situation. I don't think it was a malicious situation. I think that the person did the Google Lens on the item and then brought up somebody else's item, and the person just went ahead and clicked on sell one like this and then just applied his own pictures. So be very careful with Google Lens, okay? Because Google Lens is giving you some information, sometimes not the correct information, not the correct dimension. So if you are new to eBay, and I noticed that this person was new to eBay, they had about 4 positive feedbacks, and of course I had to let them know, and they replied to me the next day, and I took the return, and I was very glad that they did that. They honored the mistake. Like, if I make a mistake, I honor it as well. So it's very important. Be careful how you use the Google Lens, okay? Go back to your descriptions and really read it over. And you know what I do also sometimes for the resellers? I go back to my listings constantly. I'm constantly going back to my listings. I make mistakes on the weight of the items. If it's I have multiple items but I didn't add as many they are available, I go back and I revise it. I'm always trying to improve myself, but mistakes are still made, and we have to honor them, okay? If we want to have a good reputation, and just as a good human being, you want to be fair to people, and you're going to take their money and provide them with a good service. That's the way I feel. So then we're going to move on to these beautiful pieces of transferware and some flow blue. So let's start with this amazing Davenport, beautiful pedestal fruit ball, polychromed transferware. It's absolutely stunning. Is loaded with beautiful luster, peach luster. I just absolutely love this. Believe it's a blackberry pattern, and it's Davenport. Look at the marking, no chips, cracks, repairs, or creasing. I am going to keep this for myself because when I host parties, I love to serve in these pieces. They're wonderful conversation pieces. People will be picking their lovely sandwiches or treats and be like, oh my gosh, this is so unusual. And there you go. There's a conversation. Nice conversation piece. Then ended up finding this beautiful flow blue sugar bowl. This is a very rare pattern. It does have some damage. Ended up getting this 50% off on sale. There's a little crack there, but if you really display it on this side, it displays perfectly. There's no markings on the bottom. It is a very, very rare pattern. Very rarely you see this one listed. Okay, then we ended up getting from that same dealer. Her name was Patty. What a lovely lady. She gave me such good deals. This beautiful fruit bowl, a aesthetic movement, and it has the shrubs there transferred on. Beautiful orangey brown transferware with the blue contrast. Now there's some staining to it. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it's just a beautiful piece of transferware, and these were not as produced. They did not make as many of these as they did cups and saucers and plates. So, you know, teapots, tureens, bowls like that were probably 1% when sets had 50 pieces to 100 pieces. So, a lot more difficult to find. Then I came across from that same person this beautiful aesthetic movement covered cookie jar in great condition. I absolutely love these. It's unmarked. These are glazed. They're not chips. They're just glazed imperfections. These were manufactured to the masses to export. So a lot of these were not, they didn't pay attention to that. These sell very well for me on eBay. I cannot keep them in stock. Beautiful piece. And it's got the acorns on it, which I love. And it's the fall. Happy fall. Happy fall, everybody, by the way. Okay. So also, moving forward, ended up finding this beautiful mulberry transferware rare plate. It's a brush stroke hand-painted plate. I think these were produced by TJ and Mayer. Okay. It's a rare pattern. It's hard to find. Occasionally, sometimes on eBay, you see a piece here and there. There's a couple of little dents over there, but this should do fairly well on eBay. People are starting to collect mulberry again. It was kind of still for a while, but they're starting to collect it again. Then we ended up finding this beautiful small plate, Cypress Davenport Flow Blue plate. I recently have sold a platter in this pattern for about $300. Very, very nice piece. And then in that same antique mall, I ended up having a dealer come up to me and offering me this piece for $10. She said it was sitting on, it's the Johnson & Brothers Flow Blue. She said it was sitting on her booth for a long time. If I wanted to have it for $10, there's absolutely no damage on here. Just a little bit wear on the gold. But Johnson & Brothers Flow Blue does very, very well for me on eBay. These types of mix and match pieces of Transferware and Flow Blue do better online, okay, than the antique stores. But some people don't like to do online, and some people don't like to sell on the antique malls. So it's really up to you how you want to process your items. So, and then another piece of Transferware was this beautiful purple water pitcher Transferware. So this would be used on the table to serve either lemonade or water, even sometimes to carry milk. There's no markings on the bottom, and there's a little bit of a glaze staining, but no chips, cracks, or repairs. She's absolutely beautiful. Then also ended up picking up in that same mall, the booth, this beautiful red Transferware platter which is absolutely stunning. This is the marking on it. I hope that's not upside down. I apologize if it is. Nope, I think we should be fine. There's a little bit of staining here. I tell you what, some people like things perfect. I don't mind these imperfections with time. Things change with time. Things age with time, and it's part of nature, and it's okay. And it displays absolutely stunning. So if you collect that pattern, I will be listing that within the next 2 weeks. Right now, we're organizing the store downstairs and putting everything, because we have about 8,600 pieces in the office. We're starting to organize everything and label everything and file everything. I don't like stuff all over the place, just because it just creates a lot of chaos, and then we cannot find anything. Okay, so we'll be listing futurely in the next 2 weeks all of these items. Some are already up and running. Then our featured item is this beautiful flow blue Aurora pattern, a aesthetic movement with the birds platter, which I fell in love with. There's no chips, cracks, or repairs. Has the pheasant on there. It's an absolutely beautiful piece. This piece is already listed on our eBay store. And then to finalize, I don't want to make the video too long for you. Ended up finding designer jewelry. Ended up getting this beautiful 925 stainless steel 0.7 points of genuine diamonds. Gabrielle and Company cuff bracelet. It's look at the quality of those diamonds. Isn't that just gorgeous? What a beautiful piece of jewelry. And it looks marvelous on. I'm debating on keeping this for myself. I love jewelry. I should start wearing it for my videos. I also collect jewelry, so isn't that just absolutely stunning? Okay. Then also ended up finding in that same cabinet the most darling little trinket box. It's an enamel snail, which I fell in love with. Isn't that cute? I don't know much about these type of items, but I just absolutely fell in love with a snail. And then we have this beautiful piece of custom jewelry. Look at that pin, how beautiful that is. No markings on the back. I paid $10 for it, so I'm going to see if I can pass it along at a good price. Ended up also finding this beautiful set of pink iridescent earrings and pin. I'm not sure who this is. Sparkly. It's in excellent condition, and it's enameled pink on the back. It doesn't seem like it was worn much. It's beautiful. That's stunning. And then last but not least, this beautiful Sarah Coventry floral pin, and it's signed by the brand itself. I don't think this is a big money maker. I had to grab it. They were asking $2 for it. I had to take it. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. Might be listing this item for about $16. And that is it for today. It's been a pleasure to be able to share this with you today. And until next time, so long.